Hello there. So we are in the second episode of our project, which is Django series. In the previous episode we have talked about how to install Django and how to create your first project and how to create your first app in the project. Now let us be clear about project and apps. The difference between project and app is an app is a web application that does something. Okay? That means it is having a combination of doing some business logic. Whereas a project is a collection of configuration and app for a particular website. A project can contain multiple apps. That means inside a project you can have multiple apps, and an app can be in multiple projects. That means you can create multiple projects, and within those projects you can have an app. Now let's see, inside our work directory we have my site project, and inside my site project you have a default app which was created earlier in our first episode, which was my site, and we have created our first app explicitly, which is polls, right? So how we created that? We created the polls app by typing on the command prompt py, because we are using Python interpreter, manage.py, because it is having a script, start app, which is a keyword to create an app, polls. You can name anything here, but we have created the name polls. So when we created a name polls, we got this folder and these files, right? So which is visible from command prompt also. Now what to do? Because this is a very, you can say, skeleton app, and inside the skeleton app we have to do something so that this app will run. So what we have to do inside this? Basically a Django app is a MTV kind of architecture. MTV stands for model, template and views, which is somewhat similar to MVC, which is model view control. So inside the views.py, whatever we write, that will be visible to the user. So we have to create our first view. So in our views.py, which is presently empty, we have to type a minimal code. So we'll copy this minimal code. This code says from django.http import http response. So we are using actually http response method to give a response to the user, to a web user. Okay. And the definition of this is index method request colon. This is the syntax of Python, right? So what we'll do is we will open this view.py inside polls. This I have already opened in PyCharm. Okay, so you can see the my site is your project, and this is default app which was created earlier, and this is the explicit app which we have created with start app keyword, and this is views.py which is empty. So whatever we have copied, we'll paste it here. Okay, so I'll say paste. So from Django HTTP, this is paste, right? So I'll say file, go for save. It is not having save, so let's see save all. So that is better. So now it is saved. Now what to do? We have to do a little more homework. Now here only inside poles we have to create url.py. It is a kind of configuration, so we have to create a file urls.py. So I'll copy the name here and I'll go here and I have to make sure that I am within the poles directory. Okay, I am within the poles directory and I have to write, I have to go for a files, new, and I'll go for a Python file. So I'll name it as URLs because already the type is Python, so I'll go for URL. Okay, so I have created urls.py which is lying within poles folder, as it suggests that it should look like this. That means url.py should be inside the poles folder. Now I have to copy this code inside this. So I have copied from Django.url import path from dot import views. The URL pattern is where name is index, right? So I'll copy it here. So I'll press Ctrl V. So it is copied and I'll say file, save all. So it is saved. Right. Now a little more homework. Now what we have to do is, again we have to write a urls.py. Okay. So I'll copy this. Copy. And this should be inside my site project file, right? That means outside poles. So I'll go here. I'll go here because it should be in the project file. This is the default app. This is the explicit app which we have created. So I am in the my site. I'll go to files, new, Python file, and here Ctrl V. So this is URLs. Okay. So urls.py is created outside the poles, and I'll copy this code. What it is doing actually, it is actually giving the pattern that you have a subdirectory called such poles, where you have poles.urls and admin. So this is the path of that. So I will Ctrl V, I'll copy and I'll say file, save all. So it is saved. Right. So now you should always use include when you include your URL pattern in this one. Now what we have to do? We have now wired indexed view into URL conf, verified by working the following command. Okay. So we have to now run the server. So from where we have to run the server? From, we'll go cd dot. So I am now in the project file. I'll say paste file manage run server. So it will run the server. It will take a while. In the meantime, we have to see, let it run. In the meantime, what we'll do is we'll open a new browser here and we'll type localhost colon. We have to see default port is 8000 and our app inside the project is Poles. So we have to write default port 8000 Poles this way. I am not pressing enter because first I have to make sure that whether it has run. So it is run. Okay, now see, enter. So if everything is okay, it will show us hello, welcome, etc. So it is telling page not found, maybe because as it was suggesting here, the path function is passed out. Okay, so it is saying page not found. If you get an error page here, check that you are going to not on this. Okay, so let's see first of all both things. I have opened this and I have opened local host colon 8000. So this is the default site. Okay, this is the default site which we have created in the previous session, but Poles is not getting. Okay, so it is saying that path is not matching. So we have to cross check if something is wrong. What may be wrong? The placement of urls.py here. Okay. So that we have to see. Here. We'll go here. This is perfectly okay because it is inside the Poles directory. The next step is to point out the root URL at the poles.urls module in my site /urls file. So what we'll do is we'll move this inside here. It is already there, so we first check what is written here. So here it is. So what we'll do is we'll cut this here and we'll paste it here, so it will overwrite here. So we'll say OK. Already exists, overwrite. So now you can see it has gone from here and it is here. And if you open it, so it is shown like this. Right? Now what we'll do is again we'll run it. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll Control C. So we have shut down the engine because we have to restart, and with up arrow I am again running the same command. because it has to take the fresh URL configuration. So now it has run. Now we will go and we'll check here. We will refresh and hello world is coming. So now it is running properly. Why it is running properly? Because we have pasted the outside urls.py at a correct place, right? So this part is over. Okay. Now, in the next episode, we will be going for writing first Django app part 2. In the first Django app part 2, which we'll be doing in the next episode, we'll be going for a database setup, right? So that we'll be doing in the third episode of Django. Thank you everybody.